So we're going to talk today about the difference between spot colors and process colors. So when I talk about CMYK, I'm referring to a process color, but for example, a Pantone color is a spot color. RGB would also be considered a process color, but not something we want to worry about with print. So by default, most likely in your file, if you selected CMYK, you have CMYK swatches loaded here. So if I were to draw a box or use it for type, what I'm going to get here is, for example, this red would be CMYK red. I know it's CMYK red because I can go here and look in my color and it's showing me values for more than one of C, M, Y, and K. So if we remember, C, cyan, M, magenta, Y, yellow, and K is technically key but refers to black. So we have here, we notice it's mixing magenta and yellow to produce red. But let's say I want to match University of Nebraska's red, which is a spot color. The fastest thing I can do that's already built into Illustrator is to go ahead and come to the little books here. And I can come down to color books, and then there's Pantone. And we don't want the CMYK ones, we want the solid. You'll notice there's also metallic, there's pastels, but in most cases the solid are good. If you're interested in looking at what these colors look like printed, you can go ahead and visit my office and I'd be happy to loan you the Pantone book to look at it. So I'm going to go with solid coated. Basically coated and uncoated, the difference is what kind of paper it's going to be on. I normally print on a coated, which doesn't mean like a gloss or a shiny, it just means a paper that has something that allows the ink to sit on it better. Uncoated, for example, is regular copy paper that you can get anywhere that most of your assignments are printed on. The ink soaks in, so you get duller colors. So when I'm printing a design project for a client, I always want solid coated, and it's going to open the Pantone library. Now, if you use a Pantone book, you could go ahead and look and see, because these are all numbered. You would know what number you're looking for. The University of Nebraska, I'm trying to remember right now, I feel like 186 is the color. So this might not be the exact right one, but I'm going to go ahead and click that. I know this is a spot color because if I come up here, it no longer shows the CMYK values. So that tells me this is a spot color and not a process color. I can technically convert it to, but I wouldn't want to. The other thing I would note, when I say two color, I mean two different colors, but I can use percentages. So while I have this color here, let me make a copy of this box. I could also use this at 50%, and this is not two colors. This is still only one color because I've only used one color. I'm just using different percentages. So when the press or printer prints this, it's just putting less of that color down, not doing a third or separate color. That's an important thing to keep in mind. White is not a color because it's your paper. Black, however, is a color. And you can use, besides these Pantone colors, you can use 100% of C, M, Y, or K. So I could come in and select black, and since I'm only using the key value or the black value, this is actually a spot color, even though it's showing CMYK. And again, I can use this in percentages. So I could use 50% because I'm only loading one ink into the press. So that's why this counts as one color, even though it technically to you probably looks like two. So those are the things to keep in mind. Use Pantone colors unless you're going to use 100% of one of these. It doesn't just have to be black. And you can use any percentage of that one color that you choose. So white is not a color, black is a color, and then any percentage of the color you choose, so long as it's a Pantone or 100% of either C or M or Y or K. And that's the basics of creating spot colors and working with spot colors in Illustrator.